Good evening, everyone. All right, Aideen, you're my PowerPoint DJ. Let's do it. Um, this is my second Pecha Kucha presentation. This is me at Chewstick last year presenting a conceptual idea to increase more public art in Bermuda. And it led to some really fantastic opportunities and relationships. So I find Pecha Kucha to be not only a good opportunity to share, but to connect with people. Before I leave tonight, I really want someone to tell me what the sticker stands for. I see it everywhere. I have absolutely no idea what it stands for. I just want to consume sugar when I see it, so maybe it has a desired effect, but it's relevant to my presentation because of how successful people have voluntarily put the sticker on their vehicle. And speaking of vehicles, that's not my vehicle, but I think it may have been in similar circumstances. Sometimes I find that I can drive distracted, and when we drive distracted, it's heightened when we drive under the influence of substance or when we're using our phone, and it can be quite a detrimental situation when we're not responsible on the road, and it doesn't get any more dire than death. And we can see by this chart produced by Dr. Francione that in 1976 we made it mandatory for people to wear helmets on their bikes because 26 people lost their lives the year before. And since in the last 40 years, we still lost an average of 10 people a year, just under 400 people in the latest one just this past week. And non-fatal collisions are also detrimental to the community and to individuals as well. One traffic accident can affect multiple lives, whether it be mentally or financially or spiritually, physically. And what are we doing about it, and who's assuming responsibility for tackling this problem? So we know there are some organizations with a partial or full mandate to increase road safety or decrease collisions. A couple of others include the Department of National Drug Control and also the Transport Control Department. I'm going to speak further to the Bermuda Road Safety Council. The Bermuda Road Safety Council is a government board whose mission is to advise government on policies and legislation that should be pursued in order to make our roads safer and to decrease collisions. Also public education, and the road in their logo doesn't look very safe, so it was puzzling me when I was looking at it. But CALA have actually been around for 35 years, and they were started by two members of Alcoholics Anonymous who wanted to escape their anonymity and really engage the community about how negative effects of driving and alcohol go together. And they've actually been implementing a Let Us Drive campaign since 2007. They've driven 11,000 people home, myself included. And the Bermuda Police Service are responsible for enforcing road safety legislation, so vehicle stops or liquor license checks, for example. They're looking at introducing some harsher sentences or reducing the blood alcohol limit, speed cameras, for example. And I really think this is heavy-handed. It's a really heavy-handed government approach to dealing with this problem. And I think we can do a better job at tying our public policy with human nature. This photo, by the way, if you ever see the sign, unless there are police nearby, there's nothing detecting your speed. You can just go on right by. And these ones as well, I refer to them as placebo signs because, yeah, they serve the purpose of awareness, but most of the time, the detection devices don't work. And most road safety experts would agree that 35 kilometers an hour is a false limit, and we should increase it to at least 40 to 45 kilometers an hour. One speed camera lottery that's actually been quite successful came about after Volkswagen hosted a competition in 2009 called the Fun Theory Award, and they posed the question to the public, how can we change everyday experiences and how can we change human behavior for the better through fun? And one of the winners was the speed camera lottery. So they trialed a version in Stockholm in Sweden, and they basically find people who went above the speed limit, and they gave cash rewards to people that abided by the speed limit. I didn't really like this model for Bermuda because I would probably find myself on the wrong end of the camera most of the time, so I don't like finding by electronic means. So you can see some stars here. They're supposed to be representative of how we can deploy a similar system in Bermuda, and we can place hardware in strategically located locations to track speed and transfer data, and we can also program cameras to be on during certain periods of the day, so known high speed areas between midnight and 4. And this brings me back to my second slide with the treat sticker, is that the way that you calibrate vehicles with speed cameras is through electronic stickers, and we already have a case of that with the I think it's the RFID chip on our cars that we have. So anyway, it's a possibility. And you don't have to really look at the figures too much, but I know for a fact the government really is interested in introducing a good driver program, but there does exist an opportunity for an entrepreneur or a local vehicle insurer to just consider introducing a good driver program, and actually can be quite lucrative if we have a heavy sign-up of vehicles. But I still think that the speed camera limit or something like it is just the intermediary step where we really want to reach, instead of aligning incentives, is that we just enjoy being responsible, that we enjoy driving safe, and that we do it for the betterment of ourselves and each other. There's an author by the name of Daniel Pink, and he authored a book called Drive, and in the book he states 3 primary motivators that humans have, and 1 is biological, 2 is rewards and punishment, and the third one is sheer enjoyment. And he's adamant that this is where we need to get to in order to motivate people in this day and age. If we need any more motivation to drive safe, tourism season is upon us, and we all know how badly equipped they can be on our roads sometimes. It's bad enough we give them the least safe-looking helmets as well. But their road experience in Bermuda contributes to their general experience as well, and that's something that not too many people talk about. So, sorry for the graphicness, but with everything I've said, maybe I'm still wrong. The former head of the police traffic unit, Terry Spencer, once says that Bermudians simply can't drive. They've never known how to drive, and they'll never learn how to drive. They're just coping with increased volume. So we need to ask ourselves, is the way to deal with the situation through heavy-handed government policies, or are there alternatives that can motivate people to just act because they enjoy the act of just driving well and safe? So that's it. Thanks.
Any questions?
It's hot.
So do you think that the idea of an enforceable speed limit is really like the way to go? For instance, no cop is ever going to stop you at 35 kilometers per hour, ever.
Right.
However, if you actually upped the speed limit to 50, which is kind of the unspoken, cruising speed limit anyways, do you think that and actually enforced it, would that change things?
If you don't have enforcement and any number is arbitrary, I think, the reasoning behind having a program is that you don't need as much police presence, that you can actually have an incentive-based program that's active in our streets that we can use without the need of having increased police on our roads. Because I'd much rather be eligible for a cash reward at the end of the month, or a good driver program, that be pulled over by the police on the way home. And between you and I think you've seen that happen before, right? Yeah, okay. Sorry, not between you and I anymore, but yeah. Yeah, shh. Go ahead. Next. What? Yeah. Solutions are derived by problems that we have, and maybe I have a problem, so yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hi again. I just wanted to point out that to me, this is great, because what you're saying with the public art and what you're saying here is really bringing a fun time and a good way of looking at living, to live within the law, rather than without. And so, good point. That's all.
I just think we're sitting on some fantastic opportunities to really better our community, and we don't really need to rely on elected officials to get things done. There's enough people in the room to really just get the ball rolling on some pretty fantastic initiatives that just benefit everyone without a motive,
If you had your choice, how would you have the system set up in regards to the rewards program for how you drive?
Well, I was looking at pursuing this as a business venture, but I just had to say no to it because I don't want to assume this project and incur as much stress as the public arts incurred. But I was thinking that it'd be as simple as a sign-up fee, and it'd be as simple as a yearly fee depending on the vehicle. So everyone that has a bike would pay $5 for the sticker and pay $5 for the program for a year. So you paid a total of $10 for the first year, And depending on how many people have signed up, the intention is to have a monthly draw. So I was proposing that each month someone gets their annual TCD license paid for just by winning the speed limit lottery. So it gives someone a positive incentive to ride safe and get rewarded by it. And also, when you circulate good information in the community, then you're spreading good news, and then we start changing the way we behave. So.
Hi, I think sort of incentive-based is a really good idea, but it's also one to be really mindful of. And I remember reading a study from Freakonomics, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but where at a nursery, when they had parents showing up late, they were thinking about, okay, what are we going to do about this? And so one of the ideas was, okay, incentive-based, negative incentive, financial economics, and so they would charge them $5 for every minute they're late or something like that.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is that more parents were late picking up their children because they could justify the $5 financial over the moral embarrassment of, and it's actually putting a value on the incentive. So I think it's a really great idea, but just a lot of thought on what that incentive should be.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I spoke briefly to it in one of the last slides, but the whole, the mention of the book and the 3 primary motivators that humans have, and the second one is reward and punishment. And we want to get to a stage where you just act because you enjoy doing that act. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Tiago, thank you.